Hello everyone, this is Damon with PickSnub Software. For this video, I'm going to be discussing the layout option in Easy Team Builder. The layout option defines how the players are put into the template, and there's 4 different options. The default is rows by height with center tall. So what this will do is group each row by height. So the shortest players will be in the front row, the tallest will be in the back row, and each row up will be one size group up. So in this case, it makes 5 size groups from shortest to tallest. And then within the row, it will place the tallest for that row in the center with the shortest on the edges. And how it gauges height is it goes by where it estimates the top of the forehead to be, not the top of the hair. So if somebody's got really tall hair but they're shorter than another person, they'll be sorted to be shorter and not taller. And that's just to prevent if one kid's got like a really tall mohawk or something, it's not going to put them in the center above people that are taller, because it just seems to look better when they're arranged by face instead of by top of the hair in the testing I've done. So it's pretty simple. The next one would be the rows by height, random within. I've got an example here. Now for this, I built these with the same exact players, and if you look closely, it puts the groups the same for the players. So all the players in the first row are the same players that were in the row by height center tall option. You always get the same groupings, but within row they'll be randomized. So the tallest players are still in the back, the shortest players are still in the front, but within the row it randomizes them, and each time you build that, you'll get a different placement within row. However, the groups will always be the same because it's still grouping them by height. The next option is arrangement by file name, and this is what you want to use if you want to specify the exact order that the players are placed into the group. Now for this, the players were named by jersey number. And so you can see their jersey number is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It just goes left to right, top to bottom, in order by jersey number. You do not have to do it that way. You can use the arrange by file name to do the placement however you want to do it. It doesn't matter. The only thing it's going to do is alphanumerically sort the list of names, and then it's just going to start placing them left to right, bottom to top. So if you have, in this example, there is 11 players in the first row, it's just going to take the first 11 images and put those in the first row. And then the next row, there was 10 images selected for the placement. So it'll take the next 10 images and put in the second row, and so on and so forth. Now, if you're ordering by number, just keep in mind that the first 9, unless you have more than, or the first 9 will have to have one leading 0. So you can see 05 through 09 here. If you had more than 100 and you were just putting them by number, you'd have to have 2 leading zeros. And the reason why is because it sorts alphanumerically and it doesn't sort numerically. And in alphanumeric, you need that leading 0, because if it was just 5, for example, 11 here would come before 5 alphanumerically because the 1 comes before 5. Whereas 05, since it's a 0, would then come before 11. I hope that makes sense. And the reason why is because you don't have to use numbers for this, so there's no way for it to sort numerically. You could try to do something that makes more sense for yourself and name them by row and number. So you could have row 01, 01, row 01, 02, and then row 02 when you get to the images that start with row 2. But just keep in mind that it's not going to read the name, and it's not artificial intelligence to where it knows you call it row 1, it goes in row 1. The only thing it does is sort alphanumerically and then just place left to right, bottom to top. And another thing to point out with this is you can get a lot of height differences doing it this way, because you see number 6 is pretty short and number 8 is very tall, so you get this big within row height variation. Something to keep in mind is you can use the face and feet alignment to reduce that height variation appearance. I'm not going to discuss that in this video. Please watch the video dedicated for this, but just to point that out. And the last layout is random. And for this, it's a completely random layout. So you run this twice and you'll get the players in completely different locations, and they can change between rows each time you run that too. So it's not even grouping within row. So you see that you got a very tall player in the front row here, whereas if you were to run this where they were grouped by row or the height by row, this player would not have ended up in the front row. And then you have a pretty short player in the back row here. So if you do just a completely random layout, it is what it is. It's completely random. Now, the same thing I mentioned in the by file name option. If you do the completely random layout, you may also want to consider the face/feet alignment setting. 0 aligns completely by face, 100 completely by feet, and anywhere in between is in between that. But like I say, watch the video specifically for this, because I'll show examples and explain that in a little more detail than I am in this video. So anyway, that's pretty much it. And for the most part, I think most people use the default row by height, center tall. This one makes the most sense for most situations. But just know that you do have the other options available if you want them. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something from this video.